I'm Elise, 32 years old, and I've carved out a thriving career as an event planner, creating unforgettable gatherings while making sure my family's Christmas is always perfect. This year, I was buzzing with excitement until I overheard my mom and siblings scheming to make me the babysitter for 5 kids without even asking. The sting of betrayal hit hard, but I chose a smarter move over a fight. Where are you watching from today? If your family's ever taken you for granted, stick around. My story might spark your own stand for boundaries. Family's messy, isn't it? Mine sure is. We look tight-knit with Sunday dinners and never a missed birthday. But beneath the shiny surface, there's a pattern I was slow to spot. I'm the middle kid of 3. My older sister, Abigail, is a perfectionist with 7-year-old twin boys, Jackson and James, who she thinks are saints despite their chaos. My younger brother, Thomas, and his wife, Penny, have 3 kids, 9-year-old Sophie, 5-year-old Emma, and 3-year-old Lucas. Then there's me, single Elise, the go-to-daughter who always shows up for family events. Mom, Linda, lost dad to a heart attack 5 years ago, and she leans on me more than feels right sometimes. Dad used to call out when others signed me up for tasks without asking. Without him, things shifted. I didn't pick the role of family organizer. It grew from my knack for planning. It started small, sorting out Thanksgiving timing when Mom was overwhelmed after Dad's death. Then Easter, Christmas, and soon every family event landed on me to plan, run, and often pay for. While all this was happening, I built my event planning business from scratch. I started with small birthday parties and climbed to high-end corporate events and weddings. My schedule's packed months ahead, but my family seems to forget that when they hit me with last-minute favors. Last summer, Abigail called the day before her anniversary, panicking over a canceled dinner reservation. "Can you fix it?" "Oh, and watch the twins?" I dropped my plans, called in favors from 3 restaurant owners, and by 9 p.m., Abigail and her husband were dining on a private rooftop I arranged. Meanwhile, I wrangled the twins, who wouldn't sleep until their parents got back at midnight. 2 months ago, Thomas texted, desperate for help with Sophie's school project. "Needed dinosaur diorama by tomorrow. Can you help? Your crafting's way better than mine." I stayed up until 2 a.m. building a prehistoric scene that got Sophie an A+. Mom leans on me the most. Burst pipe under her sink? I'm her first call. New smartphone? I spent 4 hours teaching her the basics. Neighbor's tree crashed into her garage? I handled the insurance claim because the paperwork was too much for her. I never complained. Family helps family, right? But last spring, everything changed when I met Jason at a charity gala I was running. He was the photographer, and between his camera snaps and my clipboard checks, we clicked. For the first time in years, I was excited about someone. Jason got my crazy schedule since his work's just as demanding. He valued my skills, didn't use them. When I vented about family duties, he listened and asked questions that made me wonder if the balance was fair. This Christmas, I was thrilled. Jason and I had been together 8 months, and I wanted him at our family celebration. Thanksgiving, I hinted I'd bring someone special, but everyone just nodded, distracted by the meal I'd cooked. I started planning Christmas in November, ordering fancy ingredients and crafting unique ornaments for everyone. I snagged a premium ham, only 20 are sold each season, paying for it myself as my gift to the family. I made custom coloring books with our traditions for the kids. My dining room turned into Christmas HQ, packed with lists, schedules, and gifts sorted by person. I spent weekends decking out Mom's house with garlands and lights, balancing on a ladder while she sipped hot chocolate below. This Christmas felt special. I planned to introduce Jason to our traditions. I pictured us serving dinner together, his presence showing my family I'm more than their helper. I wanted them to see the woman who built a business, found love, and still showed up for them. I thought they'd embrace him like I'd welcomed their partners. I was so wrong, and I didn't realize it until 1 week before Christmas. That morning felt like any December day, frost on my car windows, holiday tunes on the radio as I drove to Mom's. I arrived early for our pre-Christmas planning, hauling bags of decorations and my trusty binder. The house looked calm, my string lights twinkling against the winter sky. I let myself in, called out a hello, and got no answer. Thinking they were in the back, I dropped my bags and headed to the kitchen, where voices floated down the hall. I heard Mom's laugh, then Abigail's sharp tone and Thomas's low voice. As I neared the kitchen, my name stopped me cold. Abigail was saying, "So we're set, right? Elise will watch all 5 kids during the adult dinner. It's a lot, but she handles the twins all the time, so 3 more's no big deal." My hand froze on the wall. What? This was news to me. Our family Christmas was always everyone together at one big table, not some adults-only setup. Mom said, "It makes sense. Kids' table will be a mess, and Elise is great with them. Plus, she's got those activities planned." Those activities were for after dinner, meant for everyone to join in. I'd made Christmas scavenger hunts and crafts for us all, not just babysitting duties. Thomas added, "She can eat with the kids early so we can enjoy our dinner in peace." Last year, Lucas's meltdown meant I barely tasted the meal Elise cooked all day. My chest tightened as I listened, frozen, unable to step forward. "She'll clean up too, right?" "She always does," Abigail said. "We could open a nice wine this year, no driving worries. Maybe play some grown-up games after." Mom laughed. "Elise doesn't have other plans. No offense, but being single means she's got time to help. We've all got partners and kids to think about." Their words hit like a slap. I told them I was bringing Jason to Christmas. Did they not hear me? Or did they just ignore it? "Has she mentioned that photographer guy?" Thomas asked. I thought that fizzled out. "Oh, it wasn't serious," Mom brushed off. "Elise is too work-focused for relationships. Like that accountant years ago. They were dissecting my love life with wrong facts. The accountant moved away for a job. We ended things well. Jason's very much in my life, if they'd ever asked." "It's perfect for us," Abigail went on. "She'll keep the kids busy from 4 o'clock. I'll tell the twins to show their new toys to Annalise. She'll do Santa stuff too, right?" Thomas said, "Wrapping last gifts, setting them under the tree after the kids sleep." "Of course," Mom confirmed. "Elise always does. And breakfast too. Those snowman pancakes last year? The kids loved them." I stood stuck in the hallway, my mind racing through their assumptions. Not once did they ask if I was okay with this. Not once did they think I might have my own holiday plans. "It's handy having an event planner in the family," Abigail chuckled. "Free childcare and catering in one." Their laughter rang in my ears as I quietly backed away from the kitchen. I grabbed my bags from the entryway and slipped out the front door. They never knew I was there. Driving home, the world blurred, my wipers matching my racing thoughts. Tears welled up but didn't fall. Anger overtook the shock. I'd poured years into perfect family moments, and they saw me as the single woman with nothing better to do. Pulling into my driveway, I thought about canceling Christmas entirely. I could fake a work crisis or spill the truth about what I heard. But the idea of their defensiveness, calling me oversensitive, stopped me. At home, I stared at my dining room, my Christmas HQ gifts wrapped with handmade bows, recipe cards sorted by prep time, decorations crafted for each family member. Hours of work, thousands of dollars spent to make their holiday special, while they planned to stick me at the kids' table without asking. I sank onto my couch, the pattern clear now. Birthdays where my gift was babysitting. Vacations where I watched the kids by the hotel pool while others went on outings. Countless times I reshuffled my life because Elise is so flexible. My time was theirs to use, my life less valuable than theirs. Truth hit hard, things had to change. That night, I sat in my dim living room, Christmas lights glowing softly, sipping wine, emotions swirling. Anger faded to hurt, then resignation, then back to anger. My phone buzzed with Mom's texts asking where I'd gone, but I couldn't reply yet. I weighed my choices. Confront them directly? call a family meeting, lay out what I heard, and say I felt used. But I knew how it'd go. Abigail would say I was overreacting, Thomas would stay quiet, Mom would cry about Dad's death, dodging my point. I could just accept their plan like always, cancel my time with Jason, swallow my hurt, and do what they expected. It was the easy path, worn smooth by years of giving in. Or I could walk away completely, skip Christmas, claim a work emergency or illness. But that felt like running, only delaying the real fight about their expectations. 9:30, my phone lit up with Sophia's ringtone, my best friend since college. I'd texted her earlier about the family mess, and she was checking in. She knew my family better than anyone. They did what? She gasped after I spilled the story. Without asking. That's not just thoughtless, Elise, it's disrespectful. Her words eased the knot in my chest. I know, but it's always like this. They expect me to handle everything because I always do. Because you're amazing and generous, Sophia said. Not their assistant. What's Jason think about this? I haven't told him, I admitted. We planned to spend Christmas Eve together before joining my family. Now I'm lost. What do you want? She asked, cutting through my fog. Sophia's directness cut through my haze. What do you want? She asked. Her question lingered as I dug deep, past what would keep the peace or meet my family's demands to what I needed for myself. I want to be valued, I said at last. I want them to see my time and effort matter. I want Christmas with people who see me as a person, not a tool. As I spoke, a plan sparked in my mind, growing brighter by the second. I'm an event planner. I create moments and solve problems for a living. Sophia, I said slowly, what if I just wasn't there? Like, cancel Christmas? No, what if I made my own Christmas this year? Instead of being their babysitter, I go somewhere amazing. I could hear her grin over the phone. That's the Elise I know. Where are you thinking? Our talk shaped my idea. A client had mentioned a last-minute cancellation at a Caribbean resort. With my event planner contacts, I could likely snag a spot despite the holiday rush. I could be on a beach Christmas Day, I said, the thought thrilling me. No cooking, no cleaning, no midnight gift wrapping. Book it, Sophia urged. Do it tomorrow. You've earned this. After hanging up, I grabbed my laptop and searched. The resort had an open premium oceanfront suite. It was pricey, but my kitchen renovation savings could wait. This was about my self-worth. Heart racing, I booked 5 nights starting Christmas Eve. As I entered my payment details, a weight lifted. For once, I was choosing my own joy. But what about Jason? Would he think I was dodging family drama? Would he mind missing the family meet? I had to know. Despite the late hour, I called him. Background noise hinted he was at a photo shoot. Elise, great timing, I just wrapped up. You okay? You don't call this late. I took a deep breath and spilled everything, from the overheard plot to my resort booking. It's sudden, I said, but want to join me? Beach Christmas, no family chaos. His answer was instant, excited. Are you serious? That sounds perfect. And honestly, their plan was wrong. You deserve better. His support locked in my decision. One more thing, I told him. I'm still arranging catering for my family. That's big of you after all this, he said, puzzled. I smiled. I've got a specific plan. Next morning, I called Dukas, the catering company I work with for corporate gigs. Anthony, the owner, was shocked to hear from me so close to Christmas. Elise, client emergency? No, personal favor. I need a Christmas dinner delivered to Mom's with very specific details. I laid out my needs, a fancy adult dinner with wine pairings for 5, plus a kid-friendly meal for those under 10, all prepped, needing only simple heating with clear instructions. We've got it, Anthony said. Delivery at 4 o'clock Christmas Day. You'll be there to sign. No, I said, a thrill running through me. I'm out of town. They'll manage on their own. With catering set and vacation booked, my plan was coming together. I give my family the Christmas they wanted without me, but not how they expected. Sometimes the best gift is letting people see what they've overlooked. For days, I kept up the act that all was normal. When Mom called about missing our planning session, I made up a client crisis. She bought it, a reminder they took my work for granted. "You're still doing the Christmas dinner shopping, right?" she asked. "I gave Abigail your number for the twins' food allergies. No red food coloring now." "Actually," I said, faking cheer, "I've planned something special. Dukas is catering, everything delivered ready to serve." Mom was stunned. "Catering? But you always cook." "It's tradition. This way, everyone enjoys the holiday, no kitchen duty," I said. After a pause, she agreed. "If you think it's best, Elise, you always make things special." That cleared, I moved to the next step. I needed to reclaim my sentimental decorations from Mom's house, items like my grandmother's ornaments and embroidered stockings that had become family property. The next day, I visited, pretending to check the catering menu. While Mom was on the phone, I quietly gathered my heirlooms: hand-painted ornaments, named stockings, and antique dishes from Dad's mom. They'd moved to her house since we always celebrated there. This year, they'd stay with me. It was a small step, but it felt huge. All week, family kept up their usual demands. Thomas called, asking me to grab last-minute gifts for his kids since I'm so good at it. Abigail texted that the twins wanted a Christmas pageant and needed costumes. Mom left a voicemail about rearranging furniture Christmas Eve for optimal flow. I dodged their requests with vague replies. "I'll see what I can do." My schedule's tight this year. Little hints that would hit home when they realized I wasn't showing up. Meanwhile, I prepped for my escape. I bought a swimsuit and resort clothes, totally out of place for December. I wrapped the family gifts I'd already picked out and set them for courier delivery on Christmas morning. Even after everything, I couldn't leave them giftless. Each had a card with a note nudging toward a fairer relationship. Jason and I locked in our travel plans, booking an early Christmas Eve flight. He was pumped for our last-minute trip, suggesting activities and checking out local restaurants. His excitement made me sure I was right to choose this over unappreciated family duties. 3 days before Christmas, I met Anthony from Dukas to nail down the catering. In his busy office, with holiday orders flying in the kitchen, he reviewed the menu. "So we've got beef Wellington, roasted veggies, truffle mashed potatoes, and chocolate hazelnut torte for the adults with wine pairings. Kids get chicken tenders, mac and cheese, broccoli, and Christmas cookies, all labeled with heating instructions." "Spot on," I said. "Delivery's 4 o'clock Christmas Day, right?" Anthony glanced up from his tablet. "All good. But it's weird you won't be there. You're always all in for family stuff." I smiled. "I'm switching it up, letting go a bit. I didn't mention the steep Christmas Day delivery fee, double the usual, but imagining their faces when it arrived without me was worth it." "One more thing," I said, pulling out an envelope. "Include this note with the delivery. It's important." He took the envelope with Mom's name in my neat handwriting. "Got it. Anything else?" "Payments covered, including tips. They just need to sign." That night, I went to my last family dinner before Christmas. Takeout pizza at Mom's, a far cry from the fancy feasts they expected me to make. Around the table, I saw how they still assumed I'd do everything. Thomas handed me his fussy youngest without asking. Abigail talked about Christmas Eve plans, including me running a gingerbread house contest for the kids. Mom mentioned I'd agreed to walk the neighbor's dog while they were away. No one asked about my plans or noticed my quiet deflections. They were so used to me giving in, they missed the shift happening. Driving home, I felt both sad and determined. I love my family, but old habits wouldn't break without a shake-up. Sometimes love means stirring things up for growth. Sometimes self-respect means stepping away from those who don't see your value. The next day, I packed sunscreen and sundresses, a bold move in the winter chill. I confirmed our airport ride and printed boarding passes. My Christmas escape was set. That night, I turned off my phone early, done with last-minute family demands. Tomorrow would bring clarity or chaos. I was ready either way. Christmas Eve morning was crisp, sunlight sparkling on frosty lawns as our car service wove through quiet streets to the airport. Jason scrolled through resort details on his phone while I watched holiday decorations pass by. Having doubts? He asked, catching my thoughtful look. I thought hard before answering. Not about leaving, just curious how they'll react when they see I'm really gone. My phone stayed off since last night, and I'd keep it that way until the airport. Cutting that tie felt freeing but nerve-wracking, like pulling out a long-stuck splinter. The airport was alive with holiday travelers, parents herding kids, couples and solo flyers rushing to gates. We checked bags and breezed through security with time to kill before boarding. In a cafe decked with tinsel and tiny trees, I turned on my phone. Notifications flooded in. 6 missed calls from Mom, 4 from Abigail, 3 texts from Thomas about grabbing batteries and piling voicemails. I scrolled through them, feeling oddly distant, like it was someone else's drama. Mom's latest text chilled me despite the airport's heat. "Elise, where are you?" "We're waiting for Christmas Eve breakfast." "The kids want your cinnamon rolls." Cinnamon rolls I never promised. A breakfast I didn't agree to. Years of assumptions stacked on top of each other. "They're clueless," I muttered, showing Jason the frantic messages. His brows shot up. "When will you tell them?" "Now," I said, hovering over Mom's contact, but just enough to say I'm not babysitting. I sent a short text. "Can't watch the kids during Christmas dinner tomorrow. Enjoy your adult meal. Love, Elise." Vague on purpose. No hint of where I was or that I'd skipped the whole holiday, just enough to upend their plan. Seconds later, Mom's call came. I let it go to voicemail twice before picking up on the third. "Elise Elizabeth, where are you?" Her voice was sharp, not used to being challenged. "Good morning, Mom," I said calmly, nodding to Jason. He flashed a supportive thumbs up. "Don't good morning me," she snapped. "The kids are waiting for breakfast, and we need to plan tonight's activities." "Where are you?" I took a deep breath, grounding myself in the busy airport. "I'm not coming, Mom." "Not today, not tomorrow." Silence stretched out, then her voice wavered. "Not coming." "It's Christmas, Elise." "I heard you last week," I said, steady despite my racing heart. "You, Abigail, and Thomas planned to make me babysit all 5 kids for your adult dinner, laughing that I'm single with no better plans." Another heavy pause. Her tone softened, almost pleading. "Elise, you got it wrong. We were just sorting logistics. We want you at the adult dinner, too. You're overreacting." "Am I?" Sounded clear to me. "It's a pattern, Mom. You all assume my time is yours, like my life matters less." "That's absurd," she said, but her voice lacked conviction. "Where are you? Come over, we'll talk." "I'm at the airport," I replied, watching our flight start boarding. "My plane leaves in 30 minutes. "Airport." Her voice spiked. "What plane? Where are you going?" "On vacation with Jason, the photographer you thought I'd stopped seeing." "Christmas Eve, Elise?" "You're joking." "What about dinner? Kids' gifts? Your traditions?" The boarding call echoed. "That's the point, Mom. Those became my job without anyone asking if I wanted it. This year, I'm choosing me." Her voice turned desperate. "But dinner? I haven't planned anything. You always handle it." "Catering arrives at 4 tomorrow," I said. "It's paid for with instructions. Adult meals for 5, kids' meals labeled. Just heat and serve." "Catering," she echoed, stunned. "But it's not your home-cooked meal." "The kids will be upset." "They'll love their chicken tenders and cookies," I said. "And you'll enjoy your beef Wellington and wine without childcare worries." "That was your plan, right? Just without me." Our row was called, and Jason pointed to the gate. I grabbed my bag. I've gotta go, Mom. We're boarding. Wait, she pleaded, voice cracking. You can't leave. What do we do without you? Her words hung heavy, revealing the truth. What would they do? Figure it out. Maybe value my work. See my absence as their consequence. You'll manage, I said softly. Food's coming. Gifts are wrapped in the guest room closet. Instructions are in the binder on the counter, the one you all ignored despite my mentions. It won't be the same, she insisted. No, I agreed, it won't. The gate I wrapped up. Merry Christmas, Mom. Enjoy your adult dinner. I'll turn off my phone for the flight, but check messages when we land. When are you back? She asked, voice trembling. After New Year's, I said. We'll talk then. I hung up and switched to airplane mode. As Jason and I settled into our plane seats, I felt guilt for shaking up the holiday, anxiety about what was next, but mostly freedom. Plane rolled down the runway, the safety briefing droning. As we lifted off into blue skies, I let go of years of heavy expectations. Whatever came next, I'd stood up for my worth. Jason squeezed my hand when the seatbelt sign clicked off. You okay? I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. I am now. Merry Christmas to us. Flying south to sunshine and new traditions, I left behind snow, drama, and unreturned efforts. This Christmas would be about joy, not duty. Maybe, when it all settled, my family would see why I had to take this stand. Christmas morning glowed with sunlight pouring into our oceanfront suite, a world away from the snowy chaos back home. I stepped onto the balcony, coffee in hand, watching swimmers in gentle waves as palm trees swayed. No kids racing downstairs, no adults grumpy without coffee, no me juggling gift openings and breakfast prep. Jason joined me, arms around my waist. Merry Christmas. Regrets about being here? I thought hard. None, surprisingly. I missed the kids' excitement and seeing them open my gifts, but not being everyone's holiday fixer feels better than all that. We swapped small gifts, savored a fancy room service breakfast, and strolled the beach collecting shells. The resort's palm trees, decked with lights and red bows, gave a playful tropical Christmas vibe that won me over. Noon, lounging by the pool with fruity drinks topped with tiny umbrellas, I checked my phone for the first time since landing. A flood of notifications hit, 27 missed calls, 42 texts, 13 voicemails, making my stomach knot. My family wasn't handling my absence well, but I braced myself and scrolled through them. I started with the earliest messages, seeing their reactions unfold from Christmas Eve. Mom's texts swung from guilt trips, the kids are so disappointed, to anger, how could you abandon us? Abigail's were all about her. How do I handle the twins without you? Thomas's surprised me with insight. We screwed up, didn't we? Mom's voicemails grew frantic, realizing I wasn't coming to save the day. Her last Christmas Eve message at 11:43 p.m. bared her truth. I don't know how to do Christmas without you, Elise. You always make it happen. That hit hard. I'd become their holiday crutch, but it cost me my own joy, a price I refused to keep paying. Christmas Day texts started early. Abigail's 7:12 a.m. message painted chaos. The twins are fighting over gifts, Mom's crying in the bathroom. This is your fault. By mid-morning, things shifted. Thomas texted, I see it now. We've taken you for granted forever. I'm sorry. Kids miss you, but I said Elise needed a break too. Merry Christmas wherever you are. Mom's morning voicemail was softer, tearful. Caterers arrive at 4. I found your binder. I never knew how much work you did. Call when you can. Abigail's 11 a.m. text shocked me. I dealt with the twins' meltdown over missing your chocolate Santa stockings. I never had to before, you always stepped in. That's unfair to you. Your exit made me see it. Still annoyed you didn't tell us, but I get why. Reading their words, relief washed over me. They were starting to understand. My absence, though jarring, was necessary to expose patterns they ignored when I played along. Jason caught my small smile as I set my phone down. Good news. Progress, I said. They're mad, but they're getting it. Thomas apologized. Calling them. I shook my head. Not yet. They need to sit with this. So do I. It's my first Christmas not worrying about everyone else's happiness. We spent the afternoon snorkeling, colorful fish and corals pulling me away from family drama. Back at our room, prepping for the resort's oceanfront Christmas dinner, I checked my phone again. Mom's 4:37 p.m. text stood out. Catering arrived. Everything's perfect with easy instructions. Your note made me cry. You're right, we've used your kindness. I'm sorry, Elise. Call when you're ready. I hadn't expected such a fast admission. Usually, my family needs endless talks to own up to mistakes. My absence gave them space to reflect that my presence never did. At 5:45 p.m., Abigail sent a photo of the plated adult dinner. Tastes great, but better with you here. Kids are good with their meal. You planned it all, even gone. Messages kept coming. Thomas sent a video of the 5 kids singing a carol they'd practiced for me. Mom texted a photo of the family by the tree, my usual spot empty. After our candlelit dinner, I felt ready to respond, not with a call that might turn into pleas for my return, but a clear group text. I wrote carefully, Merry Christmas. I'm safe and happy. I needed this break to process years of feeling used. Hearing you plan to make me the babysitter without asking showed a pattern that's gone on too long. My time and effort have been taken for granted. I'm not just a helper, I have my own needs. I love you, but you had to feel Christmas without me to see what it costs me. Glad the catering worked. We'll talk when I'm back, but things must change. I deserve respect too. Enjoy the holiday. See you in the new year. I paused, then added, P.S. Jason says hi. He'd have loved to meet you differently. I sent it, turned off notifications, and set my phone aside. Their replies could wait. Tonight, I watched moonlight dance on the ocean, savoring the gift of putting myself first. As we drifted off to the sound of waves, I felt a piece missing from Christmases past. Sometimes stepping away is the kindest thing for everyone. Their responses hinted at growth, but only time would show if it would stick. For now, I'd taken a big step toward a fairer family bond, a Christmas gift worth celebrating. 3 weeks after Christmas, I rolled my suitcase into my condo. The familiar space felt new after my trip with Jason. We'd ventured beyond the resort, exploring coastal villages and dining at local spots tourists rarely find. It wasn't just an escape, it rekindled my sense of adventure and freedom. The next family gathering was Lucas's birthday the following Sunday. I walked into Thomas and Penny's house with a simple gift, not the usual pile of party supplies. I was nervous, unsure if my Christmas absence would spark real change or slip back into old habits. Mom hugged me too hard, whispering, We need to talk. Abigail's hello was stiff, her face guarded. Thomas was different. His warm smile and glad you're back felt genuine. Kids swarmed me, bubbling about Christmas gifts and school. I noticed their parents watching them, not pushing them my way. During a quiet moment, Mom caught me in the kitchen as I refilled my water. What you did at Christmas hurt us, Elise, she said softly. We counted on you. I looked her in the eye. That's the issue, Mom. You counted on me without asking. You planned my time like it was yours. We're family, she said. Family helps each other. It should work both ways, I replied. When did anyone ask how they could help me? Or if I had my own holiday plans? She frowned, thinking. Her shoulders slumped. I can't recall, she admitted. We got used to you handling everything. That's not fair to anyone, I said gently. Not to me always giving or you always taking. I want balance. Tears filled her eyes. I've thought about it since Christmas. After your dad died, I leaned on you too much. It was easier than standing alone. I'm sorry, Elise. Her words, so unlike her usual defensiveness, surprised me. Thank you, Mom. I want to change, she said, wiping a tear. I don't want to lose you over my selfishness. We talked for nearly half an hour, unpacking years of unspoken expectations. For the first time, I felt heard, sharing how lonely it was to always put others first. I saw Mom as someone grappling with her own pain, not just demanding my time. Later, as the evening sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the backyard, Abigail found me on the back porch. I'd slipped out there for a much-needed breather, the kind where you lean against the railing, stare at the fading light, and let the cool breeze wash away the day's accumulated tension. The house behind me buzzed with the familiar chaos of family gatherings, clinking glasses, bursts of laughter, and the distant hum of conversation. But out here, it was just me, the rustling leaves, and the faint scent of blooming jasmine from Mom's garden. I needed that space, especially after the whirlwind of re-entering the family fold post-Christmas drama. Abigail stepped out quietly, her heels clicking softly on the wooden planks. She was still in her work attire, a crisp blouse and slacks that screamed professional mom on the go, but her face carried the weariness of someone juggling too many roles. In her hand was a glass of red wine, swirling gently as she approached. That Christmas move was bold, she said, her tone light, almost playful, but her eyes held a seriousness that cut through the facade. There was no malice there, just a raw honesty that surprised me. Abigail had always been the polished one, the sister who seemed to have it all together, career, twins, a supportive husband, but lately I'd seen cracks in that armor. I turned to face her, crossing my arms against the evening chill. It wasn't a move, I replied, my voice steady but laced with the remnants of old frustrations. It was a boundary. A necessary one. I didn't elaborate, she knew the backstory all too well. For years, I'd been the family's unspoken crutch, the one who planned holidays, babysat on demand, and smoothed over every rough edge without so much as a thank you. Last Christmas, when I'd finally said no and spent the day alone with takeout and a good book, it had sent shockwaves through our tight-knit clan. She sipped her drink, the wine staining her lips a deeper red, and nodded slowly as if processing my words. The twins asked for you daily after that. Where's Aunt Elise? When is she coming back? She paused, her gaze drifting to the garden where fireflies were starting to flicker to life. I couldn't exactly tell a 5-year-old that we pushed you too far, that our demands had driven you away. It wouldn't have made sense to them. I couldn't help but laugh, a short, bittersweet sound that escaped despite the knot in my chest. The image of my niece and nephew, with their wide eyes and endless energy, tugging at Abigail's sleeve for answers, it tugged at my heartstrings. What did you say to them, then? I asked, genuinely curious. Abigail wasn't one for sugarcoating, but kids required a gentler touch. That adults need breaks too, just like they do after a long day of play, she explained, leaning against the railing beside me. And that we should have respected your time more, given you the space you deserved. She looked at me then, really looked, her eyes searching mine for understanding. I was mad at first, Furious, actually. You left us hanging, me, Thomas, Mom, right in the middle of the holiday madness. But then, handling the twins' tantrums and the bedtime chaos all by myself? It opened my eyes. I saw how much you do that we never even notice. The little things, like knowing exactly how to calm them down with that silly song you made up, or packing their favorite snacks for outings. We take it for granted. Her words hung in the air, heavy with admission. I waited, sensing there was more. And, I prompted gently when she paused again, staring into her glass as if the wine held the answers. And we've been using you as an easy fix, she continued, her voice dropping to a near whisper. When parenting gets tough, when the twins are melting down over sharing toys or refusing to eat their veggies, we just pass the baton to Elise. It's lazy, really. Not fair to you, and honestly, it's bad for the kids too. They need to see us, their parents, handling the hard stuff. Stepping up, making mistakes, and figuring it out. Not always relying on you to swoop in like some magical Andy superhero. Her honesty stunned me. Of all my family members, I had expected Abigail to resist change the most. She was the oldest sibling, the one who thrived on structure and delegation. Admitting fault wasn't in her playbook, or so I'd thought. But here she was, vulnerability etched on her face, the porch light casting soft shadows that made her look younger, more approachable. It was a side of her I hadn't seen since we were kids, sharing secrets under the covers during sleepovers. "Thanks for saying that," I said, my own voice softening. A wave of relief washed over me, loosening the tension I'd carried for months. I love the twins more than anything. They're like my own in so many ways. I want to be in their lives, spoiling them with stories and park outings, but not as the go-to fix for every crisis. I need my own life too. "Got it," she replied with a small smile, clinking her glass against the imaginary one in my hand. "Totally got it. So tell me about this Jason guy. Is it serious? Like, meet the family serious?" The shift in topic caught me off guard, but in the best way. For once, her interest was in my life, my joys, my challenges, not in how I could help hers. Felt like a genuine step forward, a bridge being built over the chasm that had formed. We talked then, really talked, like sisters who hadn't lost touch with each other's worlds. I opened up about Jason, how we'd met at a local book club, bonding over our shared love for mystery novels and long hikes. How he made me laugh with his terrible puns and supported my dreams without expecting me to sideline them for family obligations. In turn, Abigail shared her work struggles, the demanding boss, the endless Zoom calls, the guilt of missing bedtime stories. It was cathartic, this exchange, free from the undercurrents of expectation. As the stars began to dot the sky, I realized this was what I'd been missing: connection without the weight of duty. Conversation with Abigail marked a turning point, but it was Thomas, my younger brother, who became my unexpected biggest supporter. Thomas had always been the laid-back one in the family, the peacemaker who avoided conflict like the plague. With his easy smile and quick wit, he'd often diffuse tense moments with a joke or a distraction. But after my Christmas boycott, something shifted in him too. He saw the fallout, the awkward silences at family dinners, mom's quiet disappointment, and decided to step up in ways I never anticipated. Started subtly at our next family dinner a few weeks later. We were gathered around mom's oak dining table, the one scarred from years of holiday feasts and spilled wine. The aroma of roasted chicken and garlic mashed potatoes filled the air, a comforting reminder of home. Conversation flowed as usual, touching on work, weather, and the kids' latest antics. Then Mom, ever the planner, brought up her spring projects. "The garage is a mess," she said, sighing dramatically. "Piles of old boxes, dusty tools. I could really use some help sorting it out come April." "Elise, you're so organized. Maybe you could." Before she could finish, Thomas interjected smoothly, his fork pausing midair. "Actually, Mom, maybe we all pitch in one Saturday. Make it a family thing, if Elise is free, of course." He shot me a knowing glance, his eyes twinkling with solidarity. The emphasis on if and free was deliberate, a subtle reinforcement of my boundaries. Mom blinked, surprised, but nodded. "Oh, well, yes, that could work." That small act felt revolutionary. For years, assumptions had reigned supreme. Elise will handle it because she always does. But Thomas was steering us toward a new normal, one where choices were respected and efforts shared. Over the following weeks, he did it again and again. When Abigail mentioned needing a babysitter for a date night, he volunteered himself first, saying, "I've got the twins covered unless you want to join for fun, Elise." No pressure, just invitation. It was like he'd appointed himself my boundary enforcer, and I couldn't have been more grateful. As months passed, these new habits began to take root, weaving themselves into the fabric of our family life. It wasn't overnight magic, change rarely is. There were slip-ups, old patterns creeping back like weeds in a garden. Once, Mom texted me at 7 a.m. on a weekday. "Elise, can you pick up groceries for dinner tonight?" I'm swamped. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, tempted to say yes out of habit. But I paused, took a breath, and replied, "Sorry, Mom, I've got a full day at work." Maybe Thomas or Abigail can swing by. She responded with an apology, and sure enough, they figured it out without me. Gatherings evolved into true team efforts, no longer my solo burden. Birthday parties for the twins? We divided tasks. I handled decorations, Thomas managed games, Abigail baked the cake, and Mom oversaw invitations. Texts shifted from demands to polite inquiries. Hey Elise, are you free this weekend to help with yard work? No worries if not. It was empowering, this shift, like shedding a heavy backpack I'd carried for too long. Mom, in particular, surprised me with her growth. She'd always been the matriarch, the one who held us together through sheer force of will after Dad passed away a decade ago. But relying on me had become her crutch too. Now she joined community classes, yoga on Tuesdays, book club on Thursdays, building her own social circle beyond us kids. It's liberating, she confided one afternoon over tea. I forgot how good it feels to have friends outside the family. Seeing her thrive independently warmed my heart. It meant our bonds were strengthening, not straining. In this healthier space, my relationship with Jason flourished like never before. We'd been dating for about 6 months when the Christmas incident happened, and he'd been my rock through it all, listening to my rants, offering unbiased advice, and reminding me that self-care wasn't selfish. With more time and energy freed up, we explored new adventures. Weekend getaways to cozy cabins, trying out cooking classes, where we discovered I'm terrible at rolling sushi, and lazy Sundays binge-watching shows without the guilt of pending family chores. Jason even started joining family events, and to my relief, he was welcomed warmly. No more brushing him off as Elise's distraction. Instead, Thomas grilled him about his favorite sports teams, Abigail swapped parenting tips, Jason had nieces of his own, and Mom fussed over him with extra servings of her famous apple pie. His outsider perspective was invaluable too. He'd spot old patterns sneaking back before I did. Hey, that text from your mom sounds a bit assumptive, he'd say gently, helping me stay firm. Our love deepened in these moments, built on mutual respect and shared growth. Of course, the road wasn't without its bumps. There were tough talks, heated ones even. Like the time Abigail relapsed into old habits during a stressful week at work, snapping at me over the phone. Elise, just watch the twins for an hour. It's not a big deal. I held my ground, explaining calmly why it was a big deal, and we ended up having a tearful heart-to-heart that cleared the air. Thomas mediated a family meeting once, where we all aired grievances and set clearer ground rules. It was messy, emotional work, but each conversation chipped away at the exploitation, replacing it with empathy. By the time the next Christmas rolled around, the transformation was nothing short of stunning. We started planning in early November, not in frantic last-minute scrambles, but through a group chat where ideas flowed freely. Let's split tasks evenly, Thomas suggested, and everyone agreed. Mom hosted at her house, decking the halls with twinkling lights and fresh pine garlands that filled the air with that nostalgic holiday scent. Thomas took charge of kids' activities, crafting ornaments, reading festive stories, and organizing a mini treasure hunt. Abigail handled gifts, wrapping them with her signature flair and adding personalized tags. And me? I managed the meal, but with everyone chipping in, Jason peeled potatoes, the twins helped stir batter, mostly making messes we laughed about, and Mom set the table with heirloom china. Christmas Eve arrived like a scene from a Hallmark movie, but real and raw. In Mom's cozy living room, carols played softly from the old stereo, the fireplace crackling with warmth. Kids, dressed in matching pajamas, buzzed with excitement as they set out cookies for Santa, chocolate chip ones they'd baked earlier, crumbs still on their cheeks. Laughter echoed as we hung stockings, shared hot cocoa, and reminisced about past holidays. For the first time in years, I felt true joy bubbling up, untainted by exhaustion. Free from being the sole planner, the perpetual fixer, I could soak in the moment. The twinkling tree lights reflecting in the kids' eyes, the shared stories that wove us closer, the real heart of our gatherings beating strong. Best Christmas ever, Jason whispered later, his arm around my shoulders as we watched the scene unfold. Twins were finally winding down, giggling over a new board game while the adults lounged with eggnog in hand. Because I'm not drained from trying to make it perfect all by myself, I whispered back, leaning into him. It was true. The magic wasn't in flawlessness but in togetherness. As the evening deepened and the kids drifted off to sleep, dreaming of sugar plums and reindeer, we adults gathered by the tree. The room glowed with soft light, ornaments glinting like stars. Mom, her face softened by the fire's glow, raised her glass of sparkling cider. "To Elise," she said, her voice steady and warm, eyes locking with mine across the circle, "who showed us that love means respecting boundaries, not just taking sacrifices. You've taught us a better way to be a family, one where we support each other equally. Thank you." Toast hung in the air, met with murmurs of agreement and clinking glasses. Tears pricked my eyes, not from sadness, but from a profound sense of validation. It hadn't been easy. The slip-ups, the tough talks, the hard work of dismantling old norms and building new ones. There were days when doubt crept in, when I wondered if skipping that one Christmas had been too drastic. But looking around at my loved ones, Abigail smiling genuinely, Thomas nodding proudly, Mom beaming with newfound independence, Jason squeezing my hand, I knew it was worth every ounce of effort. We'd forged a family built on respect, not exploitation, with bonds that lifted us all up instead of weighing one person down. In the quiet aftermath, as snow began to fall outside the window in gentle flurries, I reflected on the journey. My empty chair at last year's Christmas table hadn't been an act of abandonment. It had been a catalyst, making room for growth that benefited everyone. Taught me that standing up for myself wasn't just self-preservation, it opened the door to mutual care, where love flowed both ways, not as a one-sided duty. If you've ever found yourself giving too much with little in return, pouring your energy into relationships that drain rather than replenish, know this: boundaries aren't selfish acts of rebellion. They're vital lifelines, essential for preserving your well-being and fostering healthier connections. Your time, your effort, your heart, these are precious gifts that deserve appreciation and reciprocity. And here's the beautiful truth: those who truly love you will rise to meet the bar you set. They might stumble at first, resist the change, but genuine love adapts, grows, and strengthens. Have you ever had to set boundaries with loved ones who took you for granted? Maybe it was a sibling who always borrowed money without repaying, a friend who dumped their problems on you at all hours, or a partner who assumed you'd handle all the household chores. Share your stories below. I'd love to hear how you navigated those choppy waters, what worked, what didn't, and how it changed your relationships for the better. If my tale resonated with you, if it sparked a little courage to reclaim your own space, give it a like and subscribe for more insights on navigating tough relationships with grace and strength. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Remember, sometimes the best gift you can give yourself and your loved ones is the courage to say enough and mean it.